Hello everybody, my name is Timmy, or Space Timbino now, instead of only Space Bean. Still kind of weird to say, I'm not gonna lie, but I kind of like it. I don't know how you guys feel about the name, honestly, not sure if I give a fuck. Sorry, I just realized that I had the podcast still playing, I thought that was in my brain. Fucking goddamn it. I'm just here with a little video real quick, just a quick yap session, and if you want to see more videos like this, I have an entire channel that's gonna have videos where I just sit down and talk about whatever. So if you find this interesting, go give it a watch. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for the support, both recently and to come, and that's already come, or whatever. I've said come way too many times. Just go ahead and watch the video before I say come again. Fuck it. I'm just sitting down and I'm talking. I don't know. I'm currently listening to podcasts, so maybe I should quit that. Okay, I can pause it from here. Cool. I don't know. I just kind of wanted to sit down and chat because I'm listening to stuff. I feel inspired. I don't have a poem. Sorry to disappoint, but I just wanted to have a yap sesh because I turned 23 this year, and I'm a little nervous about it. Not because, like, I feel old or anything, and that, like, I'm scared of growing old, because there are those types of worries, but I generally am not afraid to die. I'm not afraid of getting old, or, like, something tragic happening, and I'm dead. I'm not really afraid of that. Like, I don't want it to happen, obviously, but that's not something that I fear. Whenever that does happen, for this instance, I want to have lived my life to the fullest every day, which I try to every day, and I hopefully will be able to say that if my life were to just end tragically like that, or it's like suddenly, I would be able to look back on my life and be satisfied knowing that I lived every day to the fullest. But that's not the point. The point of this is that I just feel like I'm learning new things every day, and whether it's shit that was obvious that you picked up from school or from just growing up, or if this is just something that is a part of life. Learning these little things over and over again, trying to attribute them to every aspect of your life, because they were talking about, I was listening to the Tommy Innit and Markiplier episode on the podcast Markiplier did, and they were talking about stuff, and I've just been listening to a lot of people talk about creative spaces and all that type of stuff. There's the conversation about how, like, inspiration is the greatest currency you can give anyone, where I truly and wholeheartedly believe that is the entire purpose of why we are here, is to inspire, or at least that's why I feel like I'm here. Not that I think I'm inspiring people by making 20-minute Terraria videos where I make dick and ball jokes the whole time, or am saying random bullshit, but the fact that maybe I'm doing something that I enjoy, and I'm having fun, and I'm being creative with it, maybe the fact that I'm doing that still, despite everything else, can inspire someone else to make something of their own, whether it be in the same vein as, like, the content I'm creating, or it inspires them to write a book, or it inspires them to finish their homework, or it inspires them to fucking do some amazing deed that only they were capable of doing in their current scenario. That type of inspiration, I think, is just endlessly valuable this day and age, especially when every bit of information you get is either just fear-mongering or just absolute horse shit about trying to get you to panic over something else, over this other thing, over there's just a whole array and a whole fleet of shit that's just made to overwhelm you. And in this day and age, I think what I'm realizing is that it's really just about the time that you have to spend. Like, there was that whole adage, or the whole thing of, like, you have $86,000 or whatever, this is the amount of time you have in a year. Actually, it's not, it's like minutes or something. I forget what the whole thing was, but the point is, you have, like, this many seconds in a day, I think it was, actually, and then they translated it to dollars, and it's like, you only have this much money to spend it wisely. And I looked at that and I thought it was just kind of dumb. It's like, yeah, you have all this time throughout the day, but some of that time is going to be spent doing, like, shit you're not in control of, so you're not going to be able to really affect that. Like, you're going to have to pay bills, with that time. But what I'm realizing is that, kind of with just a lot of stuff in life, is that, like, why the fuck does it matter? Why the fuck should I care? Why the fuck should I be paying for this thing that has absolutely nothing to do with me? And that could go a lot of different ways. That's very vague. And that's my bad. Why should I care? Why should I be putting time and effort into someone or something that is not giving me like value back? You know, like whether it's a relationship you have with someone, a friendship, like partnership, and it's just not even, or something like that, or it's not like, not that it always has to be 50-50, because sometimes you're gonna have times, this is the thing with relationships especially as well, it's not always gonna be a 50-50 thing. That's not when you're working as a team. It's not a constant 50-50 thing. Sometimes it's 10-90, sometimes it's 60-40, sometimes it's 75-25, sometimes it's 55-45. It's not always going to be a perfectly balanced split. What matters is that you cover each other and stuff like that. To completely ignore that point and go back to what I was saying about like your time and effort being put into people. Whether it's like a relationship you have that just isn't worth your time and it's causing you more harm than it is benefiting you, or it's your job doesn't pay you enough to have you give a fuck and stress that much about it, to where like, yes, it's your job and it's your income, but I'm not going to show up here every day worried and like stressing myself out to the point of like, oh, my job isn't going to get done, blah blah blah. No, I don't get paid for that. None of us do. You know who does? The manager. The manager does. That's not my problem. Or maybe it's like an interest you have that you've fallen out of, or something that you keep pushing yourself towards because it's something you think you want, but it's something you're doing either for someone else or just because it's something to do. So you have to sit there, you've just been sitting there and you're bashing your head up against the wall, like the definition of insanity type shit from Far Cry 3. When you find a second to plant your foot, to put in basketball terms, so like plant your foot and pivot and reassess this situation, and then you're able to just move on from that. It's a very helpful thing, and I know it's kind of obvious in a lot of scenarios to a lot of things, and for a lot of people, and also I know that like I'm doing a terrible job at explaining. I'm not a great public speaker or just speaker in general when it comes to speaking my mind. The point is that, and of course I'm not perfect with it either. I struggle daily just getting myself to do something that I want to do for whatever reason, whether it's mental issues or just the physical lack, like the laziness that I feel of not wanting to do it. The sooner you are able to find peace in the fact of not just you can control where you put your time. In moments when you don't have control, in moments where you cannot control or like change an aspect of the situation, change an outcome for the better or whatever, those are moments, I mean, it does suck that you can't change that, of course, but you have to recognize in those moments that that is not a moment that you should stress over to the point that it like physically affects your psyche or breaks your willpower and all that. So I don't know, I'm just learning a lot, and I feel like maybe if I'm able to say something in here that's either inspirational or helpful to somebody, then time well spent. But I don't know, I'm gonna go inside and probably play Terraria or City Skylines or something. So see ya.